Since the dawn of the 21st century, scientific discovery has rushed forward at lightning speed. Genetics, physics, computerized technologies, robotics, virtual reality. Join Derek and Sharon Gilbert as they uncover the truths behind this ultimate scientific deception. Get ready for SciFriday.
Nice planet you have here. High oxygen content. And now get ready for... Science. Welcome to SciFriday on Skywatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert. Joining us, our science advisor, my best friend, my wife, the author of the Red Wing Saga, Blood Lies, and now Blood Rights, available very, very soon from Rose Avenue Fiction, Sharon K. Gilbert.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi, love.
Nice to see you.
Yeah,
that
nice
was
to be
a
seeing you.
beautifully done science opening.
It covers almost every aspect of the scientific world, and it gets to the heart of why we do this program.
It absolutely does.
Science helps us to understand God's creation better.
It does. You know, the more I've learned about God's Word and the more I've looked at science from a very intense perspective, the more amazed I am at what He's created. He is so organized, and there are patterns that emerge after a while, and you see them from the macrocosm to the microcosm, and it is incredibly beautiful. So anyone who thinks that, oh, it all just, arose from nothing,
Yeah.
you've not really looked at it.
No. And that's the funny thing, is that skeptics who will try to use science as a justification for their disbelief, and I want to cast aspersions, by overgeneralizing, but there is a tendency amongst some who go that direction to believe that they are the intelligent ones, that they are the ones who have really thought things through, and that those of us who believe in a creator who spoke the universe into existence are the ones who are depending on blind faith, and it's exactly the opposite.
I would argue that those who call themselves humanists and believe that we arose from nothing, or at the very least we arose from some intelligent design out there in the cosmos,
Right.
That was seated here.
Turtles all the way down.
Ninja turtles all the way down, eating pizza, which explains the flat Earth, but because it's a pizza box.
Right.
But we so don't buy into that flat Earth thing. Trust me, it just makes no sense. But and if you want to know more, Josh Peck has addressed this in his series on multiverse. So
Yes. So
we
send your
highly
emails to
recommend you.
jpeck@skywatchtv.com.
Please do. No, those who believe that, I personally think that they're falling for the lie
Right.
that you shall be as gods. In other words, if you are that smart that you can bypass the Creator in an organized and beautifully patterned universe, that you think you're God,
Right.
even though you claim to be an atheist.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's an outgrowth of the Enlightenment, which gave rise to a philosophy called modernism, which teaches that the only tool by which we can understand or find truth is science.
Yeah.
But of course, science, as it's been defined for us, essentially says that we cannot accept as real anything that we can't perceive with our senses. We have to be able to observe it and quantify it, and that's making a metaphysical claim, because what it says is that if we can't see it or hear it or touch it or taste it, it doesn't exist.
It's funny you should say that, because I would argue that transhumanists are moving towards the metaphysical because they believe that you can upload an intelligence, a consciousness, into an abstract construct, either an avatar that is virtual or a robot, that essentially is forever. You can become God through science.
Right.
But that is inherently metaphysical.
Absolutely. It's a self-contradictory belief system.
It's a snake eating its tail.
Yes, the Ouroboros, yeah. But it's the same, as you point out, it's the same lie that we've been hearing from the enemy since the garden, and the enemy keeps throwing it out there because we humans keep falling for it. Oh, we'll be as gods? Well, hey, sounds good. Where do we sign up? Awesome!
It's such foolishness.
Yeah.
You know, there was an article at, let me see if I can find it here.
And while you're doing that, I'll just mention the opening quote today came from...
Oh, I forgot to ask you about that.
That was Leslie Nielsen as Commander Adams in Forbidden Planet.
One of my all-time favorite movies.
Yes. And of course, the response to that line was from Robbie the Robot, you know, talking about the high oxygen content. I never use it myself, sir. It promotes rust. Great line.
How appropriate. I love that. There's an article at, gosh, where'd this come from? I'm looking at my article, my link at Evernote, and it doesn't list, but it was a mainstream outlet, so I'll have to, give me a minute here.
Was the title Who's Afraid of Transhumanism?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
That is from America Magazine. It's actually a Jesuit publication.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the Jesuit Review, which is really significant because Jesuits are, you know, the Society of Jesus.
All about
all
science.
about science, right.
They are. Well, what's interesting is, and I even quoted this because in the article it ends with, finally, isn't the transhumanist dream of liberating humanity from its biological and psychic creaturehood simply a high-tech surrender to an ancient temptation? Ye shall be as gods.
Yeah.
Who's afraid of transhumanism? I am, the writer says. We all should be.
Yeah, the author is John J. Conley. Don't know anything about, he's a Jesuit of the Maryland province. He's a columnist for the Jesuit Review, which is called America. He is interesting, he's a chairman of the Department of Philosophy and Theology at Loyola University in Maryland.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is interesting coming from a Jesuit priest because, as you say, they're you know, the pursuit of science is one of their goals.
They're required to get a second degree in some sort of science. Right,
and of course Pope Francis is a Jesuit, so he is also trained as a scientist. One of the things that surprised me in beginning to research the transhumanist movement, and this is where our sadly departed friend Chris Putnam was excellent. He had spotted this and the influence of Father Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who was he was the man on which Blatty based the character of Father Lancaster Marin in The Exorcist, a fellow who was trained as an archaeologist. And Teilhard believed that humanity, that the entire creation was moving in the opposite direction of entropy, which says that things basically fall apart. We tend toward you know, greater disorganization. He argued that all of creation was increasing in sentience and would eventually reach a point that he called the omega point, where creation would literally wake up and become one with the Creator. That sounds, well, I mean, that's not Christian. It's not biblical.
No, it's saying that the universe is going to wake up and the universe is Christ.
Right, exactly. And that is, I'd say that crosses the borderline into heresy.
That is heresy.
Because we will not be God.
No.
I mean, we will be restored to the, you know, to the divine family, the divine council someday, which is why the New Testament has so much sonship language and inheritance language in it. But we will not be God. That is a very Eastern concept. Unfortunately, the last two popes have both spoken very positively about the theology of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. So anyway.
Sort of strange when you think about it, the idea that Jesuits would embrace an anti-scientific belief, because entropy is core within science.
Right. It was an attempt by Teilhard, I think, to consolidate, that's the word I'm looking for, to syncretize his belief in science as a scientist with what he read in the Bible. But by doing so, you have to water down the gospel in order to scientize the Bible. I'm sorry, look, the Bible isn't a book of science. It's not contradictory to science. Science does not contradict the existence of God or disprove the existence of God. But if you try to change the biblical text in order to fit your understanding of science, which as humans is not perfect,
No.
okay? Just ask Josh about quantum mechanics sometime. You wind up finding yourself farther and farther away from biblical Christian orthodoxy, let's put it that way. So yeah, it is very interesting to see a Jesuit priest writing that we should be afraid of transhumanism because Pierre Teilhard de Chardin is often referred to as the father of the transhumanist movement. He was the first one to use the phrase social media and social networks.
Oh, that's very interesting.
It's what he described as the noosphere, this idea that the communications that we have between humans back and forth creates almost a network of information.
Similar to the Akashic field.
Similar to the Akashic field, that will someday wake up and all of creation will then become one with its creator, the Omega point, which is what Dr. Ray Kurzweil argues will happen in his 6 epochs of evolution, where he believes that information is organizing itself into ever more complex forms until ultimately the cosmos wakes up. He's just approaching it from a different direction from Teilhard, but they're shooting at the same point. Just sad because they're substituting for the glorified bodies that we Christians have been promised anyway in the resurrection.
Yeah, they are. It's a false salvation.
Yeah,
I
mean,
it's going to get them nowhere. Well, along the same line, along the transhumanist and artificial intelligence line, there's an article that I found this morning, in fact, that Lyft, which is Lyft, which is sort of like Uber, it's an alternative to the local cab company. They have partnered with Drive.ai, a company that has self-driving cars. They don't have to pay anybody, which is what Lyft and Uber currently do. And in the San Francisco Bay Area, they have a pilot program that is going where you can be picked up by the AI driving the car. Drive.ai is an aftermarket company that takes already existing cars and adapts them to become artificially intelligent. So they drive themselves. What I found funny is that I'd never seen the extension .ai on the internet before, so I thought, well, I'll go and I'll research it. Sure enough, you can get any domain .ai, but I noticed that there's a podcasting place that you linked to this morning at Facebook, where you have your own little
it's a social media site called gab.ai.
Well, whatever it was, I thought, that's interesting. My husband said a .ai. I see that for the first time this morning, right after I looked at it. So, well, synchronicity there.
Yeah, Gab is.
You're part of it. You're part of it, aren't you?
That's it.
You're not, Derek. You're a robot.
It's the port in my neck gave it away, didn't it?
It did.
It's actually a social media site that's an alternative to the sites that have been compromised by social justice warriors.
Well, the irony is that it's .ai.
.ai, and to be honest, that didn't even cross my mind.
But that's what it stands for.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But interestingly, Wednesday this week, the House of Representatives passed a bill with bipartisan support called the Self-Drive Act, which lays out a federal framework for autonomous vehicles. It basically, this is a signal from Congress that self-driving cars and trucks are soon to be, will soon be on our roads.
Is it going to give them certain rights?
Well,
if they accidentally hit someone, or it appears to be an accident, is someone going to defend the car in court?
That's the question, because how do you program the AI behind the wheel to make a decision if it's faced with an impossible situation? I either hit the woman pushing the baby stroller, or I hit the woman, crossing the street, or I hit the grandparents over here with their, how does the AI choose who it's going to hit in a situation where somebody's going to get hit?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to hit the pause button and take a quick break. And when we come back, we will discuss this at length. But toward the end of the program, you want to stay tuned, because we're going to announce the winners of the science video for the first half of the year.
No, stick around. SciFriday continues right after this. Most American families are just 72 hours away from disaster. Here at Skywatch TV, we hope we can help avoid that.
I have been given permission to tell about this massive deal. There's one packet where you get one of each of these, breakfast and entree buckets, and again, 25 years shelf life. With that, you will get 15 of these Wise Fire packets. You'll get one of this water bottle. It will filter 99.9% of the impurities out of your water. Also, you will get for free this awesome auto kit.
Now, there's another package.
There are 2 more packages. The second package, you get 3 of each bucket. You pay for those, and you get the auto kit free, you get the Wise Fire free, and you get 2 of these bottles. There's a third deal. You won't believe this one. You get 6 of each of these. You get the auto kit free, you get the Wise Fire free, you get 2 bottles. Guess what else? You get the Mac Daddy.
Ooh.
50-gallon water storage container. If the electric grid goes down, one of these is going to come very handy.
3 packages for preparedness, one that feeds a family of 6 for a month, one that feeds a family of 6 for 3 months, and one that feeds a family of 6 for half a year, and of course that includes the 50-gallon water tank. And with each package we'll include free the Everyday Gourmet Cooking with Long-Term Food Storage, a $50 value. And with all of these September Preparedness Month specials, we'll include a copy of the excellent book by Christian preparedness expert Ray Gaino, Survive the Coming Storm, The Value of a Preparedness Lifestyle. You'll find all of those deals online, the Wise Food Preparedness Specials at skywatchtvstore.com. Welcome back to SciFriday on Skywatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert along with Sharon Gilbert. One of the many, well, several, web-exclusive programs produced by Skywatch TV. You also get Into the Multiverse with Josh and Christina Peck. The daily news updates, of course, and you'll find those only at skywatchtv.com. The Skywatch TV channels on Roku, on Apple TV, and the Skywatch TV mobile app, which you want to download, because that will take us directly into your smartphone or tablet, whether it's iOS, Android, Windows Phone, or the Amazon Kindle Fire tablet. You'll find links to all of those app stores at skywatchtv.com.
We were talking about the legal aspects of artificial intelligence, especially with regards to self-driving cars.
Right. This is coming because, as you point out, with Lyft and Uber will probably be in on this as well. You save the fee of having to pay for a driver's time.
And it seems safer because you don't have a driver who might assault you when you get out or rob you or whatever.
Yeah, there's that. But you're also going to find this, I think what really is going to drive this is the trucking industry, because it is it's a hard job, but the average trucker, cross-country trucker, makes about $80,000 a year when you factor in benefits and everything. I mean, you can make a decent living as a truck driver. You can support a family. But there's been a shortage of truck drivers over the last decade or so. One of the biggest problems we had when I was still in the steel industry was finding drivers to move the steel from the mills to the depots, and from the depots to the the customers. This is actually a common problem with a lot of trades right now. We don't have enough welders and machinists as well. We've been telling our kids and grandkids for the last 3 generations they have to go to college and get a degree, but now we don't have enough plumbers and air conditioning technicians. Anyway, but this is probably why we're going to see self-driving vehicles on the road, because drivers, professional drivers, cost money.
50 years from now, I think that you're going to find very few people actually working. Universal income will have been around for decades by then, because it's already being floated and tested in certain areas. Here in the United States, it's being tested in Kenya. An entire village has been given so many
tested
dollars
in Finland too.
Yeah, and I think that that's where it's all going, so that you'll have consumers at home that have spendable income that they can spend online to help feed this perpetual motion machine. And in the meantime, artificial intelligences will run the world.
Yeah.
So the goods will be moving. But here's the question: that you were in radio for years, and I know this sounds facetious, but it's actually a genuine question. What about radio stations and other entertainment providers that depend upon people in their cars who are listening and consuming?
Well, that's already taken a hit, because in certain markets, like Los Angeles, for example, Pandora is the #1 rated radio station among adults 18 to 34, which is a prime demographic for radio stations. Radio broadcasters have been, going la 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 when it comes to internet streaming for years. Well, that doesn't really count. Well, it does, because those are ears that could have been listening to your live disc jockeys that aren't, because they're listening to the. So, yeah, you can basically broadcast what most people will want to listen to. I mean, we're kind of strange in that we like listening to live bodies actually talking about stuff, but people who are listening for music really, and as a longtime radio disc jockey, I know this hurts my feelings, but they don't want to hear the disc jockey. They just want to hear the songs, the
Pretty
music.
much.
Yeah, the disc jockey is a musical traffic cop. Announce a song, tell me who it was, then get out of the way. Get the next one going. And you can do that with an artificial intelligence now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're getting to the point where you don't need.
You don't even need to have a human voice track it. You can
Right.
have the AI do it.
That's the next stage. Right now, there are a lot of humans that will voice track stations, programs for stations in other markets. Even back in 2005, 2006, 2007, when I went back into radio after having been out for more than a decade, we were part of a group that had 9 radio stations. But at night, there was one person there in the whole building for the 9 stations, and everything was running on autopilot because people who were there during the day had recorded stuff ahead of time. And sometimes you'd have the guy for the country station do the overnight track for the rock station, and the sports guy would do the track for the talk station or whatever. And but you're right, AI will just be programmed to put the chatter out there, and humans are being taken out of the mix. We're basically programming the AIs so that we can just go into our tanks of goo in the Matrix and live in virtual reality.
We really are. You had a presentation years ago where you said we're volunteering for the Matrix, and we are.
Yeah.
We are. I think there are some people out there who literally would put up their hands and say, yes, I'll volunteer for the universal income so I can stay at home and do nothing but consume.
Right. Now, think about this. As we talked about before, you've given presentations where you talked about the possibility of the artificial intelligence someday using the internet and the interconnectedness of the web to wake up and become sentient.
Yeah. That's happening now. We are feeding the information that is teaching the AI, and even if, let's say the AI can wake up just because of programming, but I go farther. I say that it's possible that a spirit can inhabit that
And that's where I was
construct.
going with this. That a spirit would inhabit that, and that as we have volunteered for the Matrix, we find ourselves in a Matrix that is now controlled by an external entity, a demonic presence.
I mean, if the image of the
Literally,
beast is a computer program,
Right.
an artificial intelligence, the fact that the second beast, the lamb with the 2 horns, is given the ability to give power unto the image so that it can speak, that sounds to me like a transfer of spirit.
Yeah, yeah, and the human brain is essentially a bioelectrical device. Thoughts are transmitted through the neurons in our heads by the transfers of electrical signals. I mean, it's really complicated, and it's an incredibly amazing design. But we know as Christians that this bioelectrical device can be overwhelmed by an external entity. So why couldn't this electronic device, likewise, or something like it,
Be inhabited or influenced
right.
by an external entity, exactly.
Is it possible that part of the enemy's plan for the end times is to draw humanity into volunteering for a matrix that turns out to be a virtual hell? Virtual hell.
That is, you know what, we're going to have to do a show where we do nothing but talk for about an hour on this, and I don't know that in an hour is actually enough time. But really quickly, we want to let you know, before we announce the winners of the Best Science Video Contest, what it is you're going to win.
Yes.
You get a copy of Blood Lies, which is book 1 of the Red Wing Saga. By the way, book 2 is already available for print order at Amazon.com. And the Kindle version will be available September 15th. You can pre-order it now.
And we'll have copies of the book if you're going to the Branson True Legends Conference. We'll have some copies of Blood Rights.
We've ordered it. We're praying that it's supposed to be here Wednesday of that week, so we're praying that that actually works out.
A copy of my book, The Great Inception, Satan's Psyops from Eden to Armageddon. And I grabbed this one too so I could hold it up. Got there first. Jeffrey Martis's excellent book, What Lies Beyond, or What Dwells Beyond, rather, The Bible Believer's Guide to Understanding Life in the Universe. This is fantastic.
We are even throwing in a copy of Into the Multiverse.
Best of.
With Josh and Christina Peck. We're not really sure why we're doing that. I think he's paying us to do that. We should get some
help
kind
us
of a
ratings,
kickback.
yeah.
But also you get a copy of the Best of SciFriday.
Right, which we don't have yet, so I'm holding up
So
another copy
pretend
of
it
Best of the
says Best of
Multiverse. Just pretend,
SciFriday
yeah,
on it.
Best of SciFriday.
We could superimpose the graphic on it. That's it.
Those are being delivered here later today. So anyway, those will go out to our winners. And so now, our first winner in the adult category.
Drum roll, please.
The winning ballot.
It was very close, by the way, in both the categories.
And I'm having to bring it up. Here we go. It was entry number 11.
Science.
Sean Ashley from Durban, South Africa.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, congratulations, Sean.
Yes.
Be sure to email us, SciFriday@skywatchtv.com, with your shipping information so we can send you your prize.
Yes. And now, the one we've really been waiting for, the Young
Yes.
Scientists category, our winner.
It was so close.
It was
Yeah.
brother and sister, entry number 6, Emily and Joseph Holloman.
Science!
Yay! Congratulations. We are so proud of you guys. You know, it was, like I said, it was really, really close. But you had to have a winner. It had
Yep.
to be a call. So please send it to SciFriday@skywatchtv.com. Give us your shipping information and we'll send your prize out to you.
Yes.
If you have a video for science, send it to the same email address
Mm-hmm.
because we've just about run out of them.
We have. Thanks again to Doug Jeffries of Raleigh, North Carolina for this week's Science. Pray for the people in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina this weekend as Hurricane Irma lands, the strongest Atlantic Basin hurricane on record, about to hit early Sunday morning.
Yep.
So next week we'll have some reports on Skywatch TV
Yeah,
about what's
Katya
happening
is
there.
aiming at Mexico, and Jose is not too far behind Irma.
Right, right. So keep all those in the path of the storm, and especially the first responders, in prayer.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
As we keep watch with Sharon Gilbert, I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SciFriday on Skywatch TV.